Do you find yourself always eating when you're bored, sad, or stressed? In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to share how to break free from the blood sugar roller coaster and become fat adapted, which will help you stabilize your mood and energy levels throughout the day so that you can make better choices. So what does it mean to be fat adapted? It means reaching a metabolic state where your body primarily uses fat for energy instead of carbohydrates. This shift happens when you reduce your carbohydrate intake and increase your fat intake. Now, to begin this transition, or to make this transition, you need to lower your carb consumption long enough to deplete any available sugars. This will lead your body to access your stored fat through a process called lipolysis. Now, you may have heard about the ketogenic diet and think that's necessary to be fat adapted. Typically requires less than 50 grams a day. But the good news is you can still be fat adapted with a slightly higher carbohydrate intake, between 50 to 100 grams. And the key here lies in what's known as metabolic flexibility. Metabolic flexibility is your body's ability to easily switch back and forth between fuel sources without any bad effects. And I find what's helpful here is to focus on natural carbohydrate sources. Think potatoes and berries, as they're satisfying without being addictive. It's important to avoid additives and refined sugars, as most of the food today is designed to be addictive. This can make a big difference in having healthier habits around carbohydrate consumption. You can enjoy natural starches or fruits around your workouts and switch back to higher protein and fat meals away from your workouts. This timing is key for having stable energy levels and blood sugar throughout the day. And from a health angle, it's going to reduce chronically elevated insulin, and along with that, inflammation. So how do you put together a fat adapted meal? So what you're going to do is center each meal around high protein and high fat foods. An example here for breakfast would be bacon and eggs. This covers your fat and your protein. You're going to fill around these with non-starchy vegetables, which are so low in carbs that it's pretty much impossible to overeat on them. And then time your starches, like potatoes, around your workouts. Since you can still consume 50 to 100 grams of carbs a day, you don't have to obsess over counting them. For example, a medium sweet potato contains about 27 grams of carbs. So you would still have room for a piece of fruit, which is usually between 25 and 30 grams, and some vegetables, while staying well under 100 grams for the day. By prioritizing fat and protein, you're going to feel full for hours, maintain a stable mood, have better self-control, and avoid the desperate urge to spike your blood sugar with pick-me-up type foods, which often leads to poor choices later in the day. Let me share an example from Helen, who has to be extra careful with her carbohydrate intake since she has hypoglycemia. Here are some of her quotes from our nutrition sessions. "I've increased my protein intake at every meal, and as a result, I feel fuller for longer between meals. This diet has genuinely helped me feel better overall. I can really feel the effects when I drift from the diet. I get tired and it takes a while to stabilize my blood sugar again." Becoming fat adapted can make a big difference in your life, making you less dependent on frequent top-ups of carbs, and really less dependent on food altogether, as you extend the amount of time you can have a steady burn of energy, kind of like if you imagine a candle burning. So you can use fat, and think of fat as your candle wick, as opposed to the wick on fireworks, where there's a huge flash of energy and then it's gone in an instant. But the candle burns for long periods of time, leading to better control over your mood, energy, and choices. Consider trying a few days of fat-adapted eating, or even a single meal centered around protein and fat, and come back and share your experience in the comments. Don't forget to like and share if you found this video helpful, and subscribe for more videos on strength training and health. And until next time, stay primal.